Hi, I'm Dave Sobel, host of the Business of Tech podcast. Rather than my typical news and commentary, I want to do some editorial right now. Let me start out by saying this is harsh data and guidance, and if you want just a rah-rah piece, spoiler alert, this is not that. To cut through the noise, I'm going to give you the real data that's available and then specific, practical advice on how to execute. But first, let's talk about tone. IT is vital right now. There's lots of great work going on, and technology services companies should be proud of what they do. But let's not do a bunch of self-praise. You don't see doctors doing victory laps, and they can't work from home and stay socially distant. Grocery stores and delivery workers are now emergency workers. All these people, and many more, are risking their lives. Sure, network administration and technical skills are often underappreciated, but take a moment and consider the examples I've named, and perspective really kicks in. We're able to help customers from the comfort of our homes. You don't want to have any of the distastefulness of gloating or woe is me associated with you. Spend your time doing vital things. Now, let's view this as a marathon. No one pauses, but pace matters. At the time of recording, we're days into this. We're looking at months ahead, and you need to be forming a plan for execution over months and not assuming this is only weeks away from normal. Now, why do I say this is months? Because that's what the data tells me. Starting with the CDC, there are 4 basic projections on what's going to occur. Both Forrester and TechAisle have offered these models as well. I've covered all of this on my podcast if you want more. The first is a rosy, high optimistic model. As we're planning for the worst, let's just ignore this. The fourth includes a systematic collapse or an extended multi-year or multi-wave pandemic, and you can't deal with this. So that leaves the other 2. Let's focus on a pessimistic one for our planning exercise. TechAisle is projecting a growth rate of only 2.4%, and the gloomiest one assumes a roughly 1% negative projection. Now, this projection assumes discretionary spending tanks in Q2 and Q3, and only a partial recovery in Q4. Let that sink in. Q2 starts this week, and so that's 6 months of down spending and only partial recovery in the last 3 months of the year. We're running a marathon now. So what are your moves? First, analyze your own situation. Assume a revenue cut. Just assume it. That gives you a baseline. I've seen investors recommend focusing on just your recurring revenue and then remove a third of that. Now, can you operate for 12 to 18 months? Use that lens to start your expense and execution plans. That is your basic cash operation perspective right now. Your goal is to stay in business. That's success. Remember, your ability to employ others to help your customers, and most importantly, your family, is based on this. You are not the bank. You are not the SBA, and you are not the financing program for your customers. Make your business decisions ruthlessly and execute them humanely. Many of you are talking about focusing only on your hard costs to your vendors. Your primary cost to focus on is your labor, period. You have to ensure you can cover that if you want to stay in business. Yes, take care of your customers, absolutely. But first, you have to ensure you can cover your own costs, starting with your labor. If you're looking to leverage an SBA loan to cover labor, work with your accountant here. Note I didn't say stop or pause, but build a plan that keeps you in business. Keep the business afloat. Now, let's talk communications. Start with checking how people are. The number 1 priority is health and safety. Even the most cynical view of an economy depends on people being able to work. Next, assume there's more you don't know about anyone's individual situation, and that the information is probably not good. We know 80% of businesses are impacted already based on survey data released Friday the 27th. There were over 3.2 million jobless claims in the US for the week ending March 21st. If you're doing just fine, assume that's the minority. It's safer, and more importantly, it's compassionate. Your normal messaging will not work. It can be both intensely unwelcome and insensitive. There are a lot of people really hurting right now. Tone matters. You don't want to be pushing stuff just to push stuff or drive forward without understanding that the tone matters. Even traditionally good industries are really struggling. You think dentists are great. It's a really rough industry right now. I've seen so much sell, or people converting their marketing to just slap COVID-19 on it. Stop it. Just stop it. Remember solution selling. The idea is to listen, hear their problem, and help them solve it. That value is important. Vendors, I'm going to turn to you for a quick second. Take a minute and remember that the vast majority of your partners, your customers, do not have the relative employment safety you do in a larger company. They don't need a cheerleader. Saying you're there for them isn't any different than what you said a month ago. That's your job. It's not something to brag about. What they need is very specific. They need longer payment terms or payment flexibility. They need financial support. They need flexibility in hitting targets. They need communications on issues, on stock, on updates, on the supply chain. In many cases, think of yourselves like the mortgage company. You need to keep these businesses alive to get the long-term revenue. Giving new solutions away for 90 days isn't nearly as powerful as making contract terms flexible. Make your thinking like the mortgage company. If they live in your software to run their business, you are more interested in long-term viability than short-term profit, if you're smart. They need stability. Don't update your products unless it's for security reasons if you can avoid it. Change is not good right now. When times are tough, this is when your partnership really matters. Your software business can run at a profit margin well over 50%. Their services business, even best in class, is running around 18% in the best of times. Remember that. For everyone, start buckling down. If I'm overcorrecting, and that's proven wrong, you're in a great position, and I look forward to being told I was too harsh. If I'm not, you're positioning yourself to survive. Pace yourself. Calm, steady voices will endure. Now, I'm not all gloom and doom because I'm giving up or because I'm being a downer. I'm being direct because I absolutely, positively want as many businesses to survive and come out the other side. When we talk about making the economy work, that's what I mean. You can't be part of the recovery if you don't survive. And if you're only thinking in terms of weeks right now, you're missing the data. If 4 of you are annoyed by me, but 1 of you makes a change and makes it out the other side, I'm totally good with that. Remember, real leadership is not seeking praise, but instead a calm, steady hand at the wheel that delivers results. Be the leadership you want to see. I'm going to continue to provide data-driven information and analysis. Share this video, and every day I'm digging into the data and the news on the business of tech. Subscribe links in the description, including the shows that cover TechAisle, Forrester, and the Cascade data sets. Thanks for listening. Take a moment to talk to a loved one, even if you can't be with them physically. Stay safe out there.